All right, here we go. We're live, CJ. Field to the Deal podcast. Scott and Peter are on their way. Traffic or something on the internet's a little bit slow over there, wherever they're at.
Colorado, like you.
Yeah, right. Oh, and here's Peter Schaefer right at the start. Right at the start, he makes the first turn. Peter Schaefer shows up right as the start whistle goes.
Hey, you killed my CJ time, Shafe. What's up, man?
I never, ever fail to answer the bell.
I just reset the link to Scott. I think we got it figured out.
See what we got on our head, man. What we rocking today?
That's Schaefer beer hat.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't drink beer, but send me one. I like it. I can style that.
Schaefer beer. We always make the rookies on our lacrosse team sing the Schaefer jingle at tournaments. Because it used to be this commercial for Schaefer beer. It said, "Rookie, get up on the barrel. I'll send it to you guys." And the rookie would have to get up and sing the Schaefer jingle.
Okay.
That was our rookie. That's our rookie hazing. Sing the Schaefer jingle, boys.
I like it.
I'll send you the YouTube on it. It's a classic. But so this is the beer that we grew up with. No relationship, obviously. Sadly for me.
Hey, we still like the hat. Still like the hat. And the lacrosse bear on the shirt, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's not. It's the Grateful Dead.
You know you're rocking that for sure.
Right?
The Grateful Dead lacrosse player.
Hey, let's get to the important topics.
Let's do it.
The Broncos going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
We got the NFL odds right now. As of going into week 17, they're a 76% chance. If they win, they're 100% in. If they lose, it's down to 61%. How are we feeling about it? The Broncos going to Cincinnati to play the Bengals tomorrow at 2:30.
What's the weather like?
It's Ohio in December. It's saying 60 degrees. Nice day.
Weather,
nice,
raining.
It says 60 degrees, cloudy. I mean, it's Ohio. It's always cloudy in Ohio.
Well, I like it. You know, it's funny. Do you know what the spread is, CJ?
Cincinnati is.
Say it again. I didn't hear you, Pete. I'm sorry.
Do you know what the spread is?
Spread 3.5. I just looked at it.
Right, but do you know? Yeah, but do you know who's favored?
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's playing out of his mind. So
no, Joe Burrows is not playing out of his mind. Joe Burrows is playing like Joe Burrows is supposed to play.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could say that too.
Is Joe Burrow going to play defense for the Bengals too?
If they won 7-8, he'll be in an MVP conversation. However, Broncos got to win to get in. Like, you have to win, and then on the road. This is going to be a tough matchup because obviously when teams are desperate, Bengals need to win out to get in.
Wait, hold on, Rob. Can you do me a favor, please?
Yeah.
This is very important. Can you call 911? I think Scott is sick. He's not wearing flannel.
I was wondering, either that or like someone turned up the furnace fan on his house at Christmas time. He forgot to turn it back down. Like something's.
No.
Is it a call for help, Scott? Is that
he's way too cheap to turn the heat up.
It was
the Christmas gift.
Right now it's 65 degrees in my house. No, it's good.
You don't need a flannel. That's what he's trying to tell you.
But
all right.
He out in the Bay Area, baby. He out in the Bay Area right now.
Scott's rocking the authentic athletic shirt, though.
I am. See it? Right there.
He's got the authentic athletic T-shirt. Oh yeah.
Now, back to the task at hand. It's gonna be a good game. I mean, VJ's defense versus what Joe Burrow got. You got to get to Joe Burrow. Obviously he's healthy, so he can move around. So he can make what Joe does great is how he maneuvered the pocket. Pretty sure that's what Scott seen as he evaluated him way back, but he maneuvers the pocket really well. It's gonna be tough. If they were at home, I would be like, man, I would be leaning on the Broncos side. But teams that are desperate, teams that got a quarterback always have a chance, and they got a quarterback and they got a chance, and it'll be a good game tomorrow.
Well, the thing is, CJ, now that they have a quarterback, they got the second best receiver in the NFL.
That is very true.
Wow. He might be the best.
No, JJ's the best.
JJ Cole, man. I mean, they played together.
But these two right now. Now it can go back either way.
Yeah, they 1A, 1B. 1A, 1B.
Yeah, tomato.
Correct.
And then another thing that people are sleeping on, which obviously Broncos have a problem with stopping the run. Chase Brown is really playing really well. He's like 77 yards away from 1,000 yards or something. and he's playing really, really well. So like that's another thing that the Broncos got to deal with too. The last couple of weeks, he's been running really strong. That's another thing that's another tool or another thing that VJ has to be. You can't let him get going. Like he won't win the game. Like he's not the guy who's going to go rush for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not him.
Yep.
But with him keeping the sticks manageable, for Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow to make the correct play calls, those can be a problem as well.
Well, the thing is, CJ, I did him coming out, of course. him and his brother,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a football player. He's a tough son of a
he's
bitch.
a dog. He can
He's
play.
a tough son of a bitch. He ain't backing down from nothing. Nothing.
Yeah,
He ain't the
I
biggest
respect
guy.
this game a lot.
He ain't the biggest guy, but he ain't backing down from nothing. No, it's going to be a hell of a game. Hell of a game.
Hey, you guys want good news for the Broncos going into the Saturday game?
No.
John Payton says Riley Moss is back.
He ain't covering Jamar Chase, so you got him on T. Higgins. Like what? Like, all right.
Hey. Well, you got a starting corner coming back after being out for a few weeks, and our defense has been kind of lit up since he was out. Hey, I'll take a return.
Don't forget T. Higgins 6'4". Pretty sure Riley Moss is 5'11", but I hear you though.
Hey, you know what? I'm not saying. Hey, it'd
be different if he was coming back. It would be different if he was coming back against the Chargers. Like he's coming back against two solid receivers. Well, obviously one best receiver in the game, and the other one is a really good number 2. And his height plays a part of that.
Peter, would you be like, hey, Riley, why don't you take another week off? Just be really good for the last week.
Nah, it's good. It's good to have him back. It's just I don't know how much it would affect the game because it's not like, hey, Riley, go cover Jamar Chase. You can't cover Jamar Chase and put 6'1" Patrick Surtain on 6'4" T. Higgins. That's out. You gotta have PS2 on Jamar. That's the only way you're gonna have a shot.
Correct.
Can Riley Moss cover T. Higgins 9 times out of 10? That's a good question.
It'll be a fun matchup.
I would tell you no, especially when you can just throw it up. He's 6'4", you got a 5'11".
Hey,
if he is 5'11".
Hey, we're gonna ask that question to Coach Jackson here.
Hugh, what's up, baby?
That's not
Look at my
Hugh.
dude, man.
CJ, that's
What's
not
up?
Hugh. That's Mark Jackson.
Is it?
Yeah,
The other
Oh,
Jackson.
that is
it's
Mark.
Mark
I'm outta
Jackson. He
there.
played for the Pacers. Come on, settle down, CJ.
I know Mark Jackson. I'm out of there. I thought it was Hugh. I thought he said Coach Jackson. That's my fault. My bad, Mark. My bad.
What's up, CJ? It's all good.
Nothing much.
It's
How
all
you been,
good.
man?
I know we all look alike. I get it.
Except for me, I ain't bald yet, so we good.
Definitely. You're the exception. I love it. All right, I got a great story. You guys telling stories?
Always telling stories, Mark.
I have a great story. So, my name is Mark Jackson. Pretty common name. CJ has actually rendered, right? So, I started my career in Denver playing with the Broncos.
Yep.
The first year of free agency, I got picked up by the New York Giants, and I'm in Madison Square Garden, and they're doing a special, like a Madison Square Garden piece on me, and they brought me in and they videoed and they made a joke out of Mark Jackson, people thinking I was the Mark Jackson, the other Mark Jackson. Right?
Mark Jackson.
So finally, I finished my career with the Indianapolis Colts. So where did Mark Jackson, a basketball player, play? Anybody? Any Mark Jackson fans?
He played for the Pacers.
Play for the Pacers.
Who else?
Played for the Knicks, didn't he?
Yeah, play for the Knicks.
Who else?
Did he play for the Nuggets for a little bit?
Nuggets. So he played in the same 3 cities that I played in. We both finished our careers in Indiana. So I was with the Indianapolis Colts when he was with the Pacers.
He was with the Pacers.
Yeah,
So y'all
we did
both
a little. Yeah, we did a TV or like a little newspaper blurb where it's called Double Vision. He had on a football helmet, and I had a basketball. So good Mark Jackson story.
Huh.
There we go.
Hey, so we're asking, can anybody cover the receivers for Cincinnati here with the Broncos? Can Riley Moss hold his ground against T. Higgins?
We didn't ask that. We asked if Riley Moss can cover the receivers for Cincinnati.
Can anybody? Apparently,
PS2
nobody can cover these guys, CJ, according to you. Nobody can cover these guys.
PS2 definitely can do his thing, but Riley Moss, probably not.
So Jamar Chase, number 1 in the league, and I think T. Higgins is 37 in the league, 36, 37 right now. So statistically, you say yes. But I don't think, one of the issues that you have at the receiver spot is you have to rely on an offensive line. You have to rely on running backs, maybe to check, and you have to rely on a quarterback getting you the ball. So I think it's not a matter of necessarily stopping Jamar Chase or Higgins or Oshie, their other receiver. I think the issue is just disrupting Burrow's enough to slow them down. I don't think you stop them, but if you slow them down, I think you can win a game.
I like it. Let's just slow them down enough. The Bengals defense isn't anything right now, is it, guys? Like, they're giving up points like anybody else. That's why they're not winning games.
Well, what's the best way to slow down an offense is keep them off the field with your offense.
There you go.
And we all know that Sean Payton's not. I mean, he had to run it on the call sheet Thursday night. We all know Sean Payton not going to run the ball 30 times. We just know that. Like, that's just not who Sean is. He's not going to sit here and tote the ball 30 times, especially with running back by committee. Maybe if he had a bell cow, it'd be a different story, but not by committee for sure.
Well,
now, one thing I can say, BJ does love to bring pressure, and BJ's been calling his ass off all season. But bringing pressure versus a guy like Joe Burrow who can see it, take his one-on-one matchups. And I forgot about number 80 from Princeton.
Yeah,
that could be a problem in one-on-one against the third corner for the Broncos against pressure that BJ likes to bring. That could be a big problem. Like Mark brought up a good point. That could be.
Mark, you can never forget about number 80, can you?
No, well, those 80s pop up all the time. I have no idea why, but yeah, when you look,
especially when they catch the ball in the snow on the back of their knees in the end zone, yeah.
Well, yeah. Did you guys talk about the rain or the weather conditions at all?
Right now it says 60 degrees.
Weather should be fine when we looked at it.
Okay. Sean Payton seemed to be concerned with rain, so they're doing rain drills in practice this week. Wet ball drills.
50% chance of rain tomorrow.
Okay.
So that means it's like 1 in 3, right?
Yeah. Let me do the math on that, Pete.
I'm gonna tell you something funny. So I'm scrolling through Twitter, and the running back coach, I'm like, man, how am I not coaching? So this is hilarious to me. But the running back coach for the Tennessee Titans, because I guess the Titans are expecting rain wherever they're playing, he's spraying his whole running back group with water hose. He got the water hose out there, and he's spraying.
CJ, you know where you got that from, right?
No.
Officer and Gentleman.
CJ has no idea what that reference is.
That's over his head, huh, Pete? We're getting old, man. Anybody that laughed at that. Cigar.
CJ, do you understand that reference, Officer and Gentleman?
Officer and Gentleman? A little bit.
No, you don't.
But the fact that you're spraying your running backs with water hose is crazy.
That's Richard Gere and Deborah Winger.
And Louis Gossett Jr.
I think he played for the Colts too. Didn't he play for the Colts somewhere? I'm getting my people mixed up.
Oh my God.
All right, so
Scott
Mark
picked up that reference. I think he picked that one up. The classic.
So Mark,
yeah, that water hose thing works, man.
Mark, who's the toughest corner you had to go up against?
Probably Albert Lewis, man, off the top of my head. I played against some good ones, though. I remember my rookie year playing against Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes. They're both Pro Bowlers, and Lester Hayes was the crazy one, right? That were like 3 pounds of stickum, you know.
Stick them all the way up to his shoulder.
But that's a great story. So I'm a rookie. I'm playing behind Vance Johnson, so I'm following him every move on the field. And in this one particular series on the backside, Mike Shanahan was our coach. He liked for us to chop block on the backside. So there was running play to the strong side. Vance did a chop block, and Lester Hayes stayed on him. And the whistle was blown. The play was dead, but Lester Hayes is still on top of Vance. I could see his feet falling in the air. And I'm like, hey, and I pointed at the officials, like, hey. So Vance comes running off the field, and his face is bleeding. He said, that's SOB. I don't know what venue we're on right now, but that son of a tried to rip my eyeballs out. And Reese goes, Jackson, where's Jackson getting the game? And I was like, I paused for a second, like, I don't know, man. I'm making 60 grand this year. I don't know if I really want to go and get my eyeballs scratched out of my head by this guy. So that was my first NFL experience. Literally, that was the first game of my NFL career. And that was like in the first quarter that happened, maybe the second quarter. But I was seriously considering retiring from football if I had to be blind, for the rest of my life. So
I can say that's a reasonable fear. Reasonable.
yeah.
Hey, Scott, where does that go on the scouting report with fear of losing your eyesight? Well, where's that? How's it affect their draft status?
It's funny. I was at the game myself, just so you know.
Oh, wow.
I was there live. And Lester the Molester, he was
Lester the Molester. That's exactly right.
He gets your ass now, and he didn't care.
That's not a nickname. That's not a nickname in 2024 you want to have.
No, but you got to figure.
Yeah,
he wouldn't survive with that nickname in today's.
Yeah, but you got to figure when he.
I wonder what his Twitter handle is.
Yeah, when he was playing at Baylor, guess what his position was?
What was he?
Linebacker.
Oh, wow.
Tough son of a gun.
He
Tough
is
son of a
tough,
gun.
man.
He had to stick him, that he got in trouble for and all that. But
much to his credit, the rest of the story, fourth quarter, I should say, we're up by, I think, 3 in the fourth quarter. We got the ball on like the 15-yard line. It's 3rd and 10. And I line up in the slot, and here comes Lester covering me in the slot. And I'm like, oh, my God, here we go. And it's a little out route. I press into him, break out. John threw it low and away. I dive, catch the ball, and expecting like a pile on or an elbow or something. He touches me, and he reaches his hand out, and he picks me up. He says, "Lucky catch, rookie," and he passed me on the butt as I run back off the field.
That's respect.
I'm like,
that's respect.
no,
yeah, I mean, that week Vance was joking about it was Raider week was really big back then. It was a real big rivalry. And Vance said something in the paper, and they printed it as a stutter. And he's like, Lester can't cover me. He can't even to talk or something like that.
No, he stuttered bad.
I think Lester had a little vendetta for Vance.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No,
Hey, Mark, where would you rate Cortland Sutton as a number 1 receiver?
In the league today, or it's
in
just
the league?
my opinion?
In the league, yeah. Like, where is he a true number 1, or is he a Bronco number 1?
I think he's a Bronco 1. I mean, I think consistency, and I've kind of noticed that this year. It seems like, and I'm not a stat guy, so I don't, trust me, guys, I'm not an authority, so I don't. You can take this for what it's worth, but I'm not keeping statistics. But it seems like guys are catching more balls, and I just see too many like easy catches that are being missed, right? The first down, the third and 5 or 3rd and 6, and then they're overshadowed.
He dropped a couple overalls. Yeah, he dropped a couple overalls last week. Easy for him. 3rd and 7, 3rd and 4. Right, like he had a chance to move the sticks. I agree with that. He just dropped a couple balls.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough. I mean, the league is designed for the pass game right now. I see some of these. I saw a PI last week, man. It was like, what? I think the guy like
yesterday. Did you see the PI?
Yeah,
yesterday?
that's right.
What is that? Yeah. Like what? Like terrible.
Jeez.
What do you think about staying in the receiver room for the Broncos? Have you had a chance to watch Marvin Mims much yet?
Yeah, something. I wasn't a huge Mims fan until we did a charity event for kids. We went shopping with kids, and I got to meet him and talk to him. And it's funny that like right after that, he's been like they've highlighted him. They were already starting to kind of have this play design to get him the ball more to use some of his athletic ability. And I began to watch him more. Before I thought maybe not for I think his 2nd round draft choice. But one of the things that I love about I call it the X factor is a person's personality, right? I'm always going to root for someone that has a great personality, that has a great heart, that is a team player, because that's the way I was. So not self-seeking. So with that, he's been just, from special teams to, catching balls on the field. What was it? That 93-yard touchdown. He's been blossoming, man, lately. Love him.
Absolutely. Then the question I always get, Mark, and because of the room that we're in here, is how would you fix the Broncos running back room?
Man, CJ said it. I think he said it best when he said, they don't really have a bell cow. So I know for me, man, my rookie year, I had like 780 yards coming off the bench. But once I became a starter, I needed to get the ball. I needed to touch the ball to get my, juices flowing. Yeah. And I can't imagine as a running back that you can get into a flow, getting a ball. It's not the number of snaps you get, it's the consistency or the sequence of snaps that you get. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Like I said before, way earlier in the year, right? Can't get 6 runs in the first quarter and 2 runs in the second quarter.
We concur.
Then like 3 runs in the third quarter, then you're in 4-minute offense, and all of a sudden they want to give you the ball 12, 13 times, and they're trying to figure out why you're not in the rhythm. Because I ain't had the ball.
So, all right. So, with all these geniuses, who's the rookie of the year this year?
Jaden Daniels.
Who'd you say, CJ? I missed it.
Jaden Daniels. If he just solidified last week on how he just first, it's the first win he had over a 500 team, which is something I've been like praying or pronouncing on this podcast. Right, like, yeah, you're good against the bad teams, but you're good against the good teams. He threw 5 touchdowns and 2 picks last week, but he threw the game-winning touchdown last week against the Eagles, playoff team. I mean, why he wouldn't get it. The only person that I like, both you can put Bo in that mix, but the only person that I really like who can never get it because they're 3 and whatever is Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is balling.
But hands down, dude.
He's 3-11, so they're not going to give it to a 3-11 guy, but Brock Bowers is balling.
Brock Bowers is a stud. It not just from the standpoint of the numbers he's putting up, but watch him block.
Right, I was going to say that. He's a complete football player at the tight end position.
Scott, I got to ask you a question. I've been hearing these crazy rumors on the radio waves here in Denver, and Mark, maybe you've heard these too. Is now that you have all these, it's like revisionist history of the draft of last year. Is there any way?
If it's a crazy rumor in Denver, and Mark probably made it up, he didn't hear it.
So, Mark, I heard you said that what the Broncos could have done is actually drafted Bowers with their 12th overall pick and waited to the second round or try to trade up late in the first round to go get Bo Nix and get both of them. Are we just playing fantasy football, or was that a realm of possibility, Scott?
It was a realm. Definitely. Yeah. There's a possibility for sure.
I think history of drafting tight ends in the first round, and the Broncos, more importantly, the Broncos' recent history with Noah Fant would probably preclude them from that selection.
I took one. Hey, Mark, I took one at number 7 when I was a fan.
Wow. Yeah, but you took Vernon Davis. That don't count. He's a stud. But Vernon Davis and Noah Fant, the gap is like galaxies apart.
No. And I get it. If you play the percentages, yeah, you take the quarterback first and you take the tight end in the second or third, because it's like wide receivers nowadays. You take them in the second, third, and fourth instead of taking them in the first, unless they're just phenomenal. Right. But Bowers is a generational guy.
Oh, yes.
What he's doing on a bad team, and they're doubling them. I mean, they got the top. Like they got a linebacker underneath them. They got a corner underneath them. And a son of a gun's still going to set records ever in the NFL.
How does he compare to Vernon? Scott, how does he compare to Vernon Davis?
He's got much better ball skills. Much better.
I think he's more athletic than Vernon too.
No.
Vernon was
not athletic wise. Vernon could
do. What are we talking? Like the only thing he doesn't have over Vernon is speed.
No.
I'm pretty sure he jumps better than Vernon. Ball skills are better than Vernon. He's twitchier than Vernon. He's way twitchier than Vernon.
Do you know what Vernon run coming out at 250?
Speed ain't just athleticism. Athleticism has a whole spectrum.
It's explosion. It's boom.
I gave you the speed and explosion. I gave you those two. I gave you.
Why do you think those DCs are sitting out there saying, "Holy shit, we got to sit back. We can't sit on this guy, but we got to get our asses out of there."
I agree with that.
He's going down the field.
When you get to a certain part, they're not saying, "Oh, Vernon Davis is going to jump over our head." Brock Bowers is going to jump over your head.
Yeah, but he's got to get down there first. Vernon got down there. Vernon was the best thing he was early in his career was stretching the defense down the
Oh, yeah, he
seam.
can run. I never
No.
said he would run.
Beyond.
But
He could
athleticism,
jump.
athleticism is not just speed and explosion. Athleticism has a whole spectrum. So
I
if you
saw
want to
Vernon
lose
do
two,
a
I'm taking
360 dunk.
Brock and the other ones.
A 360 dunk between his legs. Bam, behind his back. 360.
No,
Yep.
stop it.
Yep.
We out
You
here
got that
making
on
up
video?
dunks.
Wow.
We got
No, I was with him.
NBA players who
I
can't
was with
make
him
that
for
dunk.
5 years. I was with him for 5 years. I drafted him. I know exactly who
Hey,
he was and what he was.
I'm not putting past. But LeBron James,
Vernon,
he's way more explosive.
all of
than
us
Vernon
sitting here, we were all pretty good athletes at one time. We were not Vernon Davis. I promise.
I agree with that.
Wow.
I
Not
definitely
even
agree with
close.
that.
Not even close.
Well, Mark, they certainly don't match the tight end tandem of Clarence Kay and Orson Mobley.
Well, I was going to say there's another great tight end that came out of Georgia, but he was not known for his hand skill or ball skills.
Clarence
Well,
Kay,
that was Vernon. Yeah,
he could
I'm
block,
telling you,
though.
that was Vernon, big time. Vernon wanted to
Yeah.
body everything. He didn't trust his hands, and if he did trust his hands, he'd jump in the air.
You jump in the air so you can freeze it. That's true.
Yeah, as Mark's well aware, as a receiver, when you leave your feet, you don't trust yourself. You know,
Yeah.
he'd do it all the time, and he got better and better and better. And
Well, I
don't
was
get me
always
wrong,
of the mind of security catch first. So
Yeah,
I didn't, I used to think about that and worry about that. And I was like, instinctually as a receiver, you're going to do if you're operating in your brain, if you're operating in your conscious mind when you're out in the field, you're probably not playing in the pros, first of all. But if you are, and you see that in quarterback play a lot with rookie quarterbacks, they're in their head too much and they're thinking too much. That's one of the things I've seen. You can see that with Bo Nix at the beginning of the season. You can see him thinking, so it's off a little slower. You can see that with Caleb Williams. They're talking about his release time being 3 seconds or 3.2 seconds. It's because they're still kind of in their head, or they're in his case, in Caleb Williams' case, I kind of give him the whole he wants to make a play happen with his legs as well, but I think he'll probably fall into that at some point in time. But I know at the receiver spot and at any spot, really, running backs, you see running backs that are making like these incredible moves. CJ, you made some moves. I guarantee you, you might have saw the highlights later. You probably didn't even notice it at the time. But you say to yourself, how in the hell did I make that move? How did I make that cut?
I definitely said that before.
Hey, Mark,
Subconscious.
I got a Peter and I are working on a new game show question here with the Broncos playoff odds. If we lose this week, we have a 61% chance to making the playoffs. Is Scott's thermostat set higher or lower than the Broncos' chances if we lose?
I'm saying. First of all, I don't play those games. That's not that what I say in reality.
Is Scott's thermostat higher or lower than 61?
I go week by week. I think with what Sean's been doing, what Bo's been doing, what the entire team's been doing, it's excellent. I feel it's going to be a high scoring game because Burrow's rolling. And you got three receivers. You got two that are both number ones. One's going to leave next year and make millions and millions and millions somewhere else.
Yep.
So they're going to put up points no matter what. But Denver's got a little mojo going right now, and I think they're going to hang in there and fight. And I think it'll be a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Now, if they lose, of course, it gets tougher. But that's the NFL, and that's why we love it. That's why the fans love it. That's why they watch it, but you need to win every game you possibly win. And two teams both playing pretty good right now. The one thing about Cincinnati that's killing them is their defense. And that's great for Denver because their best thing is their offense.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's going to be a dogfight, but that's what you want this time of year. And that's what happens this time of year. It's week 17, and it's going to be a battle. I mean, and if you have a good day, you're going to win. You have a bad day, you're going to lose.
You don't want to lose because the Chargers play the Patriots and the Raiders. Those are on paper automatic wins.
No, they play the Broncos. Oh, that's right. They play the Raiders next week. Patriots.
They play the Raiders tomorrow or Sunday, and they play the Patriots Sunday, and they play the Raiders next week. So if you lose, the team in front of you who's already beat you twice, who has a head-to-head matchup,
That's over.
Mhm.
Yeah,
you would take the odds saying that the Chargers will find a way to win those games.
Win both games.
yeah. You never want to rely on other teams losing
Correct.
for
Correct.
you
Right.
to get into. You don't want to back into the thing anyway. So,
Correct.
I mean, literally, the game this week is almost considerably a must win for the Broncos. It's a big benefit, more than just being in the playoffs, but having the opportunity to go into the last week of the season playing against Kansas City at home and with no pressure.
Which Kansas City might chill because they locked up the number 1 seed already.
Well,
They're
that's the
going to chill.
interesting.
They're
Yeah.
going to.
What,
They
Yeah,
locked the
but
number 1
listen
seed.
here, though.
Kansas City is chilling.
right now, if Kansas City chills, that means they played on Christmas Day. They don't play again until January 17th.
Yeah.
That's a 24-day chill without
Hey.
playing. I
Oh,
don't
That's
know
all
what's
right.
that chill.
That's all right. It's better than having
It
a
is. All right.
quarterback with an ACL.
I love what you just said, Pete.
Man, what do you do, Pete? You play the first half? Like, you have the number 1 seed. Like,
I got you.
those guys over there definitely knows how to win. So,
They've been there, done it.
all right, like multiple
There's
times.
also rust, man. I think if your starters are out that long and everything plays out with the Broncos playing the Chiefs in the first round, that could be a big plus for the Broncos. If that actually happens, and I'm not a betting man, but I think I might even bet $5 on
Mark. Yes, you are. I'm gonna tell you because he brought it up. I'm gonna tell you a story, all right? I won't tell you the numbers. I will not tell you the numbers. But Mark calls me when he's playing, and he was in Vegas, and he was down a few dollars, a few more than a few dollars, and I forget how we wired him some money to get to the airport, come back. He stopped at one of the small dive casinos on the way to McLaren Airport and hit it for twice as much as he had lost.
Thanks, Pete, for sharing that with me.
True story.
Salt wound.
My only vice: I can't walk past a small hole in the wall casino like San Remo.
No, he can't. If you're ever looking for him and you can't find him, that's where you look for him.
Hey, Mark, what do you think of the whole college football playoff system?
You know something? This is your. I'm kind of enjoying it. I haven't been able to see any of the games, honestly, but I like the fact that more teams having a chance of winning, but more importantly, I think the nation kind of gets around it a little bit more as opposed to having 4 teams that somebody that you agree with or disagree with, or picking the right 4 teams to be in there. So I think it's a good thing.
CJ, if you were doing the bracket, if you were the college football committee, would you just put the top 4 teams to get the bye, or would you keep it the way it is, where there's a benefit of winning your league or you're winning your conference?
I'm an NFL guy, so if your record, I mean, obviously you have your like divisions, which is your conferences.
Right.
So the format, I'm fine with that. I don't think Boise deserves a bye. I do think conferences. The difference in the NFL, they're all professionals. So I don't think I do agree. Like the Mountain West is not as strong as the SEC or the Big Ten. I do agree with that. I mean, there's a reason why you had Power 4 conferences or Power 5 conferences before the Pac-12 got out of there. I think those 4 conferences, no matter what the record is, because they play better football than the AAC, Mountain West, Sun Belt, they should get the automatic bye. Then after that, you can at-large however you want to at-large. So that's kind of how I would do it. That would probably be my only switch up. Because like Boise going 12-1, that can happen every year because they play in the Mountain West, and they are going to play in Oregon or
Strength of schedule matters to you.
Yeah,
Like, you want quality wins.
I think in college it does. So that's kind of how I see it. Excited for the games coming up next week. I think playing on a Tuesday and Wednesday is kind of weird. I know they like to do, the Rose Bowl, like to do the New Year's Day and all that good stuff, but like playing on a Wednesday is kind of weird. Which I heard the NFL is trying to do next year. Pete, Scott, is that true? The NFL is trying to move to Wednesday football? Are you serious?
They're going to play every day.
That's killing us, man.
No, they're not. No,
Monday,
they're
Wednesday,
not.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's crazy.
No, you can't do that to players. You can't
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
crazy.
You
Well,
can't
what
do
they
that.
did. So what they did this year, though, is like with the Christmas games. They played them on the Saturday, and then they switched. They had the same 4 teams play on Christmas. They just switched the opponents. So it was like playing a Saturday, Thursday, and now those guys are off from Christmas. Then they get a 12 days until their next one.
But the only reason, Peter, it was played on Wednesdays because of Christmas. That's
Correct.
the only reason.
Hey, if I'd have had 3 games in 11 days, you would have heard a lot of complaints from me.
And what would that have done?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You heard from me, bro.
Yeah, but from my standpoint, I don't understand it because not being a football player in the NFL, in the recovery time and all that, I've been around it nonstop. But it's the same for both teams. It's the exact same for both teams.
That's not true.
Not one team's getting an advantage on it. You're both fighting your fight. You know what? When you were a young kid, would you play football every day?
That's not true, Scott. If I'm more banged up than Mark got the advantage.
Well, no, but still,
You still got the same different time off of
but,
recovery is what Scott's saying.
Yeah, but he ain't dealing with an ankle like I'm dealing with an ankle.
Okay, but you got old line there dealing with knees. You got defensive linemen dealing with back. You got shoulders. You got corners dealing with an ankle.
Yeah, I mean, you see, Chris Jones didn't play. I'm not saying. But if Chris Jones probably would have played on a Sunday, because he also what y'all, like you just said, and Mark can explain this. Not being a football player, that treatment and what we do from Monday to try to get back Sunday, those extra treatment days and being in the training room and doing those things help. That day is completely short and cut when you play on a Wednesday or a Thursday night.
Sure.
And a game that you probably would have played in if you would have had the extra day of rest, now you don't get a chance to play.
Gotcha. But it's saying both ways. Both teams got injuries. This time of year, everybody's hurt. Everybody's starting. Everybody's hurt.
That's the mindset of why we playing on Wednesdays.
Well, yeah. But the mindset for the football player is you get paid to play football. That's why you go out there and do what you do. You don't do it to take care of yourself. Like, I got to take care of my body because I'm worried about.
No, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that.
10 years from now.
That's the old school mentality, bro.
Oh yeah,
partner.
I'm old school, bud.
I mean, we were treated back in the 70s, the 80s. I don't even want to go back to the 60s, but I played in the 80s, and we were treated like cattle. I mean, the players today are treated like thoroughbreds, which is what they should be. If you're paying someone millions of dollars, give them a massage, give them the top, the cryo tip, give them the best of the best to,
and they do
to manage their bodies, right? Yeah. And
nah, they don't. Like,
well, I was in San Fran. Hell, we had a freaking masseuse flying the plane with us on our charter.
Have you been to
Detroit
Detroit facility?
At nighttime?
Have you been to Detroit facility? Detroit got cryotherapy. Detroit facilities.
I've been to a lot of facilities, partner.
Detroit probably has the best facility of football when it comes to recovery.
Right. I know this. I was with Seattle.
Other teams don't have that.
I was with Seattle. I was with Green Bay. I was with Washington. I was with San Fran. Them guys were taken care of so big it wasn't even funny. Wasn't even funny. I'm like, holy smokes.
We was too. I'm not saying wherever they want third-party outsources. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is this: Tampa Bay is one of them. Detroit's another one. There's some things that I had to go do when I was in Denver, outsource.
But that was a long time ago. Times have changed, bud.
That ain't a long time ago. I retired in 2020. I retired 4 years ago.
Okay.
I don't even remember 2020 anymore, CJ.
It's like technology.
It's talking like I retired when Mark retired.
Wow.
Peter, going back to the Wednesday game, is it going to be like this year with Christmas and how they kind of did it, like for some specialty games? Are they trying to make it like Thursday night football, or they're going to be like Wednesday night football?
Well, they can carve off these certain days, like for Netflix, and they charge them whatever $500 million for those 2 games.
Wow.
They just carve it off, and then CBS and Fox still get their slate on Saturday and Sunday, so they're still getting all their time slots filled, so they can sell their inventory of advertising. but then they carved it off for Amazon Prime, and then they carved it off for Netflix. And reality is, the more they carve off, the more money the players make, though.
Well, idealistically.
So going back to the college football then, because what I'm curious, like with who you guys have coming up here, because I don't know if we're going to talk again here before these games take place. So Texas and Arizona State on New Year's Day, 11 o'clock out here in the Mountain Times. Texas is favored by 13 points over Arizona State, CJ.
I like Texas over Arizona State. Don't get it twisted, though. Arizona State going to come to play football.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be close.
But I agree with Pete. I think it's going to be a bad day for Cam Skidabo and all those
Arizona
guys.
State and Boise State, I'm sorry, those are not at the same level of the other
Yeah.
six.
The committee,
the
committee got it wrong.
Are there any odds out for who's going to win it all? Because from what I'm understanding, Texas is they're the 3 seed, but they're favored to win it all. Is
Texas, Oregon are the 2.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, so Mark, how would you prepare for now? All of a sudden, we get into December, January, cold weather days. I mean, you're most famous for the drive in Cleveland. What was the weather like that day? And how do you prepare for it though?
You break out the long johns, man. Break out the long johns.
So you didn't go out to you didn't go out to warm up without a shirt on?
I ain't that old.
Times has changed. We definitely don't wear long johns no more. Like Scott said, times has changed. We got a whole lot of other things to keep us warm than the long johns.
Pete, you can't prepare for cold, brother. That's just, there is no preparation for cold. I was born and raised in Chicago for most of my life, and they got the Hawk in Chicago. I've been in some pretty cold games. Probably one of my favorite games was in Denver. We played against the San Diego Chargers, and it was my rookie season. And I had this rent-a-car, not a rent-a-car. It was a dealer hand-in car. It was a little Subaru sports car. Anyway, it started snowing on that Thursday, and Sunday it was still snowing. And I hit my garage door to roll out to the game, and I just saw snow.
It's like a game show door.
Oh my! It was crazy, man. There was literally, I'm not BSing. There was about 1.5 feet clearance at the top, and I was like, I went outside to see what the hell was going on, and the wind was blowing that direction. It had blown this big wind drift in my driveway up to my garage door. Thank God I live right down the street from Dennis Smith. And I called him up. I was like, man, are they going to cancel this game? He goes, man, this is the NFL. Are you kidding me? I'll pick you up. And he came by and picked me up in this little Jeep Wrangler, which we slid all the way to the stadium. But by the grace of God, we made it. It was crazy.
All right, Mark. So tell CJ, the young buck, about the drive. What was going through everybody's head?
The drive.
You acting like I don't know the drive.
You don't know the backstory. We want the backstory.
Yeah. It's a historical moment in the NFL. I am a junkie, you know that.
That was the Sammy Winder. I mean, Peter said that. Peter's always looking for some good content for airtime, right? He's talking about the fans, but he used you as a scapegoat to hear that same story about the 512th time this week.
But
when he's playing, I would like to know what was going through y'all heads and the situations and how y'all talk about it. Do y'all talk about it like how we talk about it today? I would like to know that.
And playing in Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, they had one shower.
What?
Yeah, the wind's coming off the lake.
Ugly stadium. It's a baseball stadium. So first of all, it wasn't designed for football, but the end zone that game, I don't think you've ever experienced this, CJ. It was full of dog biscuits, batteries, sandwiches.
Wow.
Literally, bro, just going into the that end zone where the dog pound was, and we saw it the night before. A lot of the local pet stores were giving away free dog biscuits, and we thought that was cool. We didn't know we were going to let them bring the dog biscuits into the game. People were walking into the game with like 10-pound, 20-pound bags of dog biscuits. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Wow.
What were they expecting? I mean, the NFL has changed too. I don't think they would ever allow that again in this day and age. But yeah, that whole end zone. And I remember doing just a warm-up lap. I usually run around the entire field twice. And I ran around and I got to that end zone, and it's pregame, so there wasn't a lot of fans there, but there was this barrage of freaking dog biscuits that were coming out.
Take them out early.
Let's test their arm, man. Next time around, I cut it off at about the 5-yard line. I didn't go in the end zone.
Hey, Scott, do you ever see a fan throw a dog biscuit so well you're like, ooh, we should get him scouted?
I have not.
Hey, old women throwing dog biscuits, man. It was crazy. It's like, it was grandmother's dad. Come on. Go home.
So right, so you get in the end zone though, but with John in the huddle, was there any doubt that you were going to score?
No, man, it was a crazy season. That was my rookie year. So sometimes I look at games differently nowadays when I see rookies. And you talked about Mims, and you talk about some of the play of guys that he's not a rookie anymore. But when they came into the league, I started noticing more that it was just a routine for us. We were just so I think confident. It wasn't a braggadocio, cocky confidence, but just this air of confidence. And that, of course, trickled down from John. But our offensive linemen, there were no Pro Bowl players. I think they gratuitously put Keith Bishop or Stutter, one of those guys, in the Pro Bowl just because
Bish, my dude now.
But they played well together, and I think they trusted each other. Ken Lanier, Bishop, Paul Howard, Billy Bryant, Dave Studdard, as I mentioned. All those guys were, they played together, and it was my rookie year. So I was just happy to be there, man. But I got into the huddle. I think it was Sammy Winder. I think he threw a little dump pass to Sewell. And then once we got a little breathing room, we went into our 2-minute offense. And it was a blast, man. I freaking loved it because, even on the 3rd and 18, I felt like, oh, this is going to be great. And we literally ran that play 3 times that season. We ran it earlier in the season against the New York Giants, caught the ball. And we were 100% on that, picking up that 3rd down using that play. And sure enough, catch the ball.
3rd and 18 is a big play.
Yeah. I love that play. It's just you don't see that in the NFL very much anymore. Crossing route, deep crossing routes. Count the number of deep crossing routes you see this coming Sunday and Saturday.
Part of it is the D-line a little faster than you don't have that developing time that you can get on that deep crosses.
Oh man.
You got a guy like TJ Watt or Von Miller turning the corner.
You got it, CJ. That's exactly right, man. But we just kept the ball moving, man. And you can hear the stadium even as a player. You don't usually recognize that stuff, but you can hear it get quieter and quieter and quieter as we move the ball down the field. And as Steve Harvey said, it's a great little clip that he does on the drive. I think it was a top 10 or top 15 NFL plays. And he said, man, I was in Cleveland watching that game in my friend's basement, and you could hear Rat pissing on a ball of cotton in the corner.
All right, so give us the play call on the slant that you scored a touchdown.
Crazy play that I never saw. On the 3rd and 18, I knew I was going to get the ball, and I got it every time. Like I said, we ran that maybe 3-4 times in the season. On that particular play, we ran 5 or 6 times, maybe 10 times during the season, and I never got the job. My job never got the ball. My job was to rub the linebacker to go over the top, and he usually threw the ball out in the flats.
Yep.
So I did my rub. I did my job, man. The linebacker
wait, what's
went
the play
over
call?
the top.
What's the play call?
Oh my God, I can't remember, man. I heard John call it on one clip or something, but I cannot remember the play call. But here's what I remember. I looked as I ran the route, and I really wasn't even trying to run a route, but as I ran the route, I looked over my left shoulder first, and I didn't see the ball out in the flats. And I turned around, and John's eyeballs were like saucers. His arm was popped back. I was like, oh, shit. He's coming to me. And he said that's the hardest he's ever thrown a ball. And it shows John's football IQ I heard him say that he basically just threw that ball in the ground because it was third down. If you remember, he's like, if Mark didn't get it, would have another chance. And how many quarterbacks think like that in the moment, right?
Yeah.
But
all of them are retired.
yeah, exactly.
I play with one who did that too. All of them are retired.
I tell you, CJ, that was one time that I tell people Jerry Rice could have made that catch. Being vertically challenged was a bonus. So I was low to the ground already.
Yeah.
Because it was going to go through you?
Yeah.
You weren't going to hand catch that one, huh?
No, you got to go down.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
not the way John throw. John throw hard now.
You talk about trusting yourself. That was and something so crazy, man. You don't think about it. I got jumped up, spiked the ball. I had the ugliest spike ever in NFL history. And Vance Johnson went and grabbed the ball, which I thought, all right, that was pretty cool. I saw that just last week. Did you guys see that?
I missed it.
Oh, with Mahomes?
So who's the running back? Can't think of his name. It was his first touchdown of his career. Oh God.
I saw it. I'm trying to remember who.
No. I know what you're talking about. I'm trying
to remember the team. I saw it too.
No, with the Broncos. Both throws or somebody scores a touchdown. I just watched the replay. I wouldn't even watch the game live. But Bo went and grabbed the ball for him.
Yeah.
Was it Estime?
What's his name?
Estime.
No, it wasn't Estime. That wasn't
Dame.
his first touchdown. I wrote it down, man, because I thought it was so big, man. I was like, really? I can't find it. I was thinking about it. I did another show, and I mentioned it on the show. I can't think of the guy's name, man. That's what happens when you get old.
Well, I'm watching the film right now, Mark. It looks like after you spiked it, you said, oh, shit, why did I spike it? You were going to go get it.
Oh. I didn't know where it was. Vance got it, man.
It definitely looked like you were – you're like, why did I do that? This ball could be worth something someday.
I got a question, Mark. Did they do chicken broth and hot chocolates on the sideline for you guys during those cold games?
No.
Oh, they did for us. That's what I asked. So y'all was just out there freezing.
Come on, man.
No.
Chicken broth and hot chocolate.
Yeah, y'all didn't have chicken. We had chicken broth on the sideline. Like that's so my welcome to the NFL. It's my rookie year. It's my second game active. We played Washington at home. I was active for that game. Then we went to New England next week. Super cold in New England. This is like in November. Super cold, windy. So I'm not playing. I gotta wait till running backs get hurt for me to play. But I'm playing special teams. But I'm cold, and the trainers is coming around, and he got 2 cups, the Gatorade cups, and I see steam coming out the cups. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I asked him, and he's like, this is hot chocolate, this is chicken broth. Keep y'all warm. And I'm like, hell yes. I was
Hey, CJ.
getting chicken broth and hot chocolate to keep me warm because I didn't really play.
You got to figure, CJ. Mark played back in the days, man.
I got you. That's the question.
Yeah, he played.
For the
He played
Camel
out
Chicken
there.
Noodle Soup commercial.
That was for them back in that time. So I was real warm on my second game active. Right,
CJ, they
playing
haven't even-
special teams, which special teams you only get like maybe 20 plays a game. So I was real warm on the sideline with chicken broth, my jacket.
Mark played
I
before
want
they
to know if
invented.
they did that for you guys.
I'm jealous, man.
CJ, Mark played before they invented chicken broth.
Hey,
Hey,
it wasn't until like my second or third year that we got the bun warmer. And I remember they used to have like a literal fire. There was this thing that kicked out a fire.
No
and
way.
man put his shoes up there and actually catching
That I would have loved this
Oh,
song.
the sideline heaters, right? Yeah. So,
Instead of the
Mark,
heaters, they had the bonfire going on. That's crazy.
but look at this play. So you went in motion, and so you're supposed to rub Sammy Winder's linebacker then.
Yeah.
Yep.
I pushed up. I did a good job of pushing up though. I think I always was a good a route runner. I don't think people really aspire to have that talent and skill nowadays. It's just get open. And I pushed up, gave a guy a nice little head fake outside and broke that thing in there, bro. John just laid it in there. I'm just like clockwork. Let's go.
Yeah.
How about Dan Reeves' trench coat? Did that throw you off at all?
Oh no, not at all, man. He's the classiest guy in the NFL, bro. He's
Always sharp.
Tom Landry disciple, man. He used to wear a suit for every game. He had a suit on under that trench coat. Yeah, that's Danny, man.
All right, so as we finish up, Rob,
what coach is wearing sweats?
Hey, the
Rob,
question I wanted to ask CJ and Mark is: are you guys rooting for Saquon Barkley to break Eric Dickerson's record?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
I like ED. ED was classic, man. In that era, I think with the extra game, people are saying that's discounted, but hell, every era is gonna have a lot of different benefits. I don't think you can compare running backs from era to era, or definitely can't compare receivers anymore because of the different rule changes. But just that to climax to break a record that's been around for that many years, and what a class guy, man. I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about him. Somebody give me the bad. Somebody's always done something bad or pissed somebody off. So what's bad about Saquon Barkley? Give me some dirt.
Nothing.
You stay with the Giants too long.
Stand up guy. Nah, Saquon breaking it will be dope.
Yeah.
I love ED. Like, obviously, ED game definitely doesn't fit with my game, so I didn't try to model ED. Obviously, was 6'1", can run crazy, but watching him run
straight up
was a fun thing to do. Like just watching. That's one thing I can say about my time in the league. We can go back and get some of those games and some of those films, and I can do a whole running back study in the offseason.
Oh, wow.
Like if somebody wanted to do if somebody wanted to look at Mark Jackson and say, man, he was a great route runner, and I want to take some of the we have that access to do that. So that's something that Peyton taught me, and Champ Bailey. And I kind of went on a running back study with some of the running backs that I thought I might model better.
Awesome.
But I remember just pulling up ED. I was like, man, let me watch ED because, obviously, you got 2,100 yards. Let me see what you did. And I was like, dude, this dude was balling.
The thing is, guys, my older brother played with ED his rookie year in Indy. But just I met him probably 3 years after my brother retired, and I think he just retired. You talk about a class act.
Oh, super.
Freaking stud.
Yeah, my time with the Rams, and obviously I'm balling, so that might have helped. But when at the Super Bowl in our hotel, when my mom and her husband, my stepdad, when they went down and they saw ED, my mom said who she was, and ED taught them with straight class, took them around a little tour of the whole field where the meeting rooms and all that stuff was, where our pictures was at. Signed the autograph and took a picture of my stepdad because he was an LA Ram fan. He's a Ram fan.
Yeah.
That's all my mom can talk about was how nice and chill and classful that he was when he did that. During that time in 2019.
He did come out saying he does not want the record broken.
Oh, of course. He wants the record. Look at it twisted now. He definitely remember when AP was 9 yards away, he was like, thank you, he didn't break it, right?
All right, so Scott, do the Eagles play him next week if they have nothing to play for, just to break the record?
Absolutely.
Wow. You don't look like
the quarterback's already hurt.
From a personnel standpoint, no.
So do you have that conversation with your head coach as the general manager? Do you have that conversation with Saquon?
Both.
What if he's
both?
What if he's got an incentive involved and he wants to play?
Okay. Well, talk it through. Tell me why. Understand we're in.
So when I come back to you, I can break your head and get this money.
Get more money.
Well, but he's got money already. But the thing about it is, what he wants is a freaking ring. So all of a sudden you say, okay, you want to do it? We'll do it. That's fine. Understand. We'll let you go as much as you can go and see if it happens. I personally don't like it at all because I want to win a world championship. We got.
You don't think I want to win a world championship too?
Wait. Which is more?
Well, yeah, you can, but if he's hurt, you're not gonna.
Which is more?
I also could have got hurt. I could have got hurt
ankle.
week 15. I could have got hurt week 15, 14, 13.
Which is more immortal, Scott? A Super Bowl championship or the all-time rushing record?
World championship, hands down. It's not even close.
It'll definitely get you paid more.
Nah. You get that ring. That ring is different. I got a ring, so you get that ring. The ring is different.
The ring,
Speaking from a guy who
the
does
ring
that.
makes you immortal. I got 3 of them. It makes you immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark,
Every
how
time
many you got?
I didn't get the.
I got a church league championship T-shirt from my basketball league I was in.
There you go.
Mark, how many rings? Mark, how many rings you got?
Everybody say hi to Gina.
Hi, Gina.
I Miss G.
I Gene.
She's leaving. You're on the air.
I Miss G.
Mark, how many rings do you have?
Tell it like I have 3 AFC championship rings, by the way.
I got one of those too, and the NFC Championship ring too.
Oh,
I
man.
know what that feels like.
Yeah. It's a good thing, man. You had a good career, bro. And like
Thank you,
Scott
man.
said, it does make you immortal. I mean, even wearing my AFC championship game, I didn't even wear them. I didn't wear any of my rings like my first 6 years, 7 years out of the league. But you know, at
So you just started wearing them, or when did you?
something? Yeah, I started wearing them at different events, and people absolutely love it, man.
Oh yeah, they like, oh, like when I show my Rams and Broncos AFC NFC Championship rings. I mean, obviously when I saw the Super Bowl ring, they're like, but when they look at the rings, they're like, oh my goodness! Like I'll be like, you do know this is the loser ring, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You
I'm gonna end
excited
this like
about the loser ring.
here's a little known story, Mark, about the dog pound, right? So they used to have, if you guys remember, the guys would bring in that big dog house, right? The big wooden dog house, and they'd hold it up there, and that was a dog pound. What happened was it took them a couple years to figure out, but it would take like 3 guys to carry this big dog house into the stadium. And all of a sudden they realized at the end of the game, one guy was carrying it out underneath his arm, right? They were carrying 3 full kegs of beer in it.
Wow.
Right. So they'd be sitting there sucking down the beers during the game, and that's why they brought the doghouse in. It wasn't for any aesthetics or anything like that. It was so they carried 3 kegs of beer in.
Sneak the beer in where you ain't gotta buy it.
Hey, as we wrap this up, guys, I want to just run by the college games, and then the
True story.
I want you guys. You guys got Texas over Arizona State. What about Ohio State, Oregon? Who you got? Ohio State's favored by 2.5 in the Rose Bowl.
Ooh, rematch.
Who you got, Mark?
I'm going to Ohio State, man. Come on, Big Ten for life.
Scott, who you got?
Oregon.
Peter.
The quarterback's playing way too well.
I'm going with either team that's named starts with the letter O. I'm Oregon.
CJ, who you got?
It's hard to beat a team twice. And I think Ryan Day and them are tired of being talked about. I got Ohio State coming out fired up, man.
It's gonna be a good game. I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I don't watch many games. Hey, I had a hard stop at 1:00. It's 1:03. I love you guys. Thanks for
we're stopping here too.
Yeah, we're getting off soon. We're gonna have final thoughts and stuff soon.
Cool beans.
We're just going through these picks.
All right, Mark,
Mark.
you take care of
Mark,
yourself.
good seeing you, man. Why do Scott